It's Friday, August 30th at 2:30 in the afternoon, and the dogs and I have walked down the K&P Trail from Verona for the last hour and 20 minutes or so. We're currently sitting just south of Hartington on the trail, and we're going to head back now. So the weather's quite nice. It's overcast and about 24 degrees and quite humid. The summer air has returned again, it seems. And tonight we're supposed to get rain and potentially thunderstorms overnight. We'll see if that happens or not, but that's what's in the forecast. And I think tomorrow is 60% chance of showers or something like that. So summer is still trying to hold on, and fall is trying to move in. So we're going to have a little tussle with the weather over the next while. And the tropics are also heating up. There are some tropical waves moving towards the Caribbean, so we'll have to see how those develop. Here's some of the coltsfoot plants down in the ditch here that are usually the first thing to bloom in spring. These are non-native plants, but they look pretty in spring when they get their yellow flowers all over them. It's always nice to see the color. Alongside the trail here in bloom are various goldenrods as well as purple loosestrife. Now, purple loosestrife is a non-native plant that has become quite invasive over the decades here in Canada. Up here on the right side is this clumping plant, which I had actually never noticed before. I guess I'm usually riding my bike past here too fast to notice. But these are some greater willow herb, which is another non-native plant from Europe, but it's a member of the willow herb family, and you can see them in bloom now. Potentially why I never noticed them, because usually I'm riding here perhaps when they're not in bloom. Very pretty plant though. So this would be related to fireweed and a few of our other native willow herbs. And this is about 6 feet tall here and quite dense. Being a non-native plant, sometimes such plants tend to get very common and start to displace native plants. Now, I'm not familiar with this one doing that per se. Maybe some places it does that, but here it's just a few scattered clumps, and it's certainly not a plant I encounter very often, so I have a feeling it's not a serious invasive. So this section of the trail comes very close and parallels Highway 38. That's why you have all the traffic on the side here. I've never walked this full stretch here before, so this is a first. I'm sure the highway is very busy because it's also a long weekend starting today, so a lot of people have probably left work early, and many others are probably already heading up to their cottages for the long weekend. Just had a merlin here that flew over towards the old quarry. Gave me some nice views of its flight. Here's some zigzag goldenrod growing on the side of the limestone cliff here. Some large-leaved aster here in bloom amongst the zigzag goldenrod. False Solomon seal with its red berries. This is bladdernut, a fairly uncommon shrub generally, but along the trail here it does occur in pretty good numbers in areas, both this trail and the Cataraqui Trail. And you can see here where it gets its name, bladdernut. The berries are housed in these pale green bladders. And the leaves are in threes, almost like poison ivy, but much more finely toothed and not large teeth. And it also grows in this big shrub-like format, which isn't typically the case for poison ivy, even though it can get to be quite viney and shrubby in places. But you can see here, this is all bladdernut through here. Okay, finally getting a bit away from that highway. It was quite noisy going alongside that. So it's nice to get into a more peaceful setting here. It's wonderfully refreshing along the trail right now with that nice breeze. It is still a bit humid, but with the cloud and the relatively cool temperatures, it's very pleasant. We're thinking of making a trip to Upper Canada Village because this weekend they have what they call their Horse Lovers Weekend. Usually a special 3-day event that they've been having for the last few summers at Labor Day. And we went to it once before and it was quite interesting. They have a lot of different events and activities related to horses and horsemanship. And it's very pleasant when you're in the surroundings of Upper Canada Village, as it feels very historic and rustic and just really matches the equine mood very well. Okay, it's 3:45 and we're just coming up to the end of the hike here. Been a very enjoyable walk. We started at 1:10, so we've been walking for 2 hours and 30 some minutes. But a little further than I'd expected. I'd never done that before, right from Verona to Hartington on the trail walking, so that's a first. And now we're just coming up to the south end of Verona here where we parked the car.